Oftentimes people hold on to anger and resentment because they fear that they cannot hold the boundaries themselves. The boundaries of lack of communication, if that's where you're at with your parent. It's lack of trust in self. Anger and resentment keeps you separated from that which has hurt you. But you have the ability to keep yourself separated from that which has hurt you without the anger and resentment. You can release that and still hold a boundary. That is called self-empowerment. That is called standing in your power, knowing what is good for you and what isn't. Having that discernment to be able to accept what is good for you in your life and what is not. So if you are having a hard time forgiving somebody, the first place I would start to look is your own trust in yourself. Do you trust yourself to be able to make the right decisions, to not fall into old patterns, to not accept the behavior that has happened in the past? Welcome to the Akashic Recordings. My name is Annette DeLu. I'm an Akashic conduit, channel, and spiritual guidance coach. What you will be hearing today is a real session with one of my clients. All the names have been changed for privacy, and of course, with their permission, we are privileged to hear these beautiful stories to allow us a small glimpse into the Akashic Records. If you would like to book a session with me and be part of the podcast, please feel free to head to my website at infinitesoullove.com. When you book your session, just make sure to check the box that you would be interested in having your session utilized for the podcast. For those of you who really wanted to sign up for Soul Discovery Workshop, I have great news for you. You can head to my website, and on the homepage, if you go to the little box that describes Soul Discovery Workshop, there is a button there that says sign up for the wait list. So if you want to be in the know and want to be the very first one to sign up for the next session of Soul Discovery Workshop online, feel free to head to my website at infinitesoullove.com. Go to that homepage, click sign up for the wait list, and send your email, phone number, as well as your first and last name. And I will make sure you get that registration email as soon as the next course is ready to launch. In addition, you will get a discount code for the early bird sign up. So if you are interested, head over there now. Today we are talking about familial relationships and people pleasing in order to stay out of the drama. Also, we're going to discuss a little bit about how motherly obligations and expectations are, for the most part, rooted in a lot of what we learn here in society as what mothers should be doing. And I want to give a little context and information regarding that as we take my client Chloe into a meditation regarding clearing her energy from the energy of her mother as she was in the womb. Understanding that this isn't the fault of the mother. These are experiences that we sign up for, and we dive deep into this subject matter of how to clear your energy from your familial ties while still understanding that you signed up for these experiences. In addition, we access one of the past lives that Chloe had in which she had died when she wasn't meant to, and in a way that she wasn't meant to, and how that has manifested in physical pain in this lifetime.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Hey, I'm so excited for you. Is this your first Akashic Record session?
Yes, I just have been binging your podcast the last couple of days. I just found you just randomly, how life works like that, and just resonated so deeply with everything that all your work and stuff. And I was like, wow, this is so
beautiful.
amazing.
I'm so glad to hear that. So tell me, what would you like to cover today?
From what I had like understood, people just kind of come in with questions that they have. So I guess how many questions do you people normally ask?
Well, it really depends. Some people ask a million questions, some people have no questions. So it just really depends. And usually what I say is you can essentially just ask as many questions as you want. And then the guides will tell us what are the most important questions to cover today. And if there are questions we don't get to, then we can always do it in another session. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would love to ask a couple of questions, I guess. And then, yeah, I do believe that I've been like trying to kind of connect with my spirit guides while I've been sleeping lately. And I just am having some of the most insane dreams. Yeah, so like I kind of tried to talk to them last night, telling them like what I was going to do today and to see if they were going to be around. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah. And they're around. Well, A, they're always around, and B, they're definitely here to support you in this. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So I guess my questions would just be like, I have like issues with staying consistent. It's like kind of impacting my physical health and mental health, how to kind of like process that or understand that better. I was wondering if there's like any ancestral trauma that still needs to be healed, and if like the journey that I've taken so far has done anything to heal that, because I've been kind of working really hard on healing a lot of my own stuff. Yeah, I guess like along with that would just be like, is there any pain in my body that could be from another life or from ancestral trauma instead of just like me kind of being so hard on myself? Yeah, a lot of these questions are just kind of like about my body and being in pain. I just recently had a flashback to when I was a child that I was remembering a dream that I had never experienced before, and was just kind of wondering if that dream or that like flashback was real, and if there's like a way to like dive deeper into understanding what that was. And then my last question would just be like, what is my mom to me in this life, and like if we've had other lives together.
Okay, great. Your root chakra is really stable. It is darker red as opposed to a bright red, and that is from some past life trauma that you've had that we will cover today. It is nearly cleared. So you have been clearing this for many, many lifetimes, and you've almost completed the clearing for this root chakra issue. And I'm hearing there's a lot of things in your life that are like this. And the theme is you're trying to put yourself in a box that everybody else or that society thinks you should be in. And this was a struggle that you had throughout many past lives. And so they're saying to me that this is something that you've been working on for quite some time, because they're showing me the root chakra, sort of floating on the water as you are now. and that's where it's the most comfortable. And so a lot of people have their root chakra that they really need that stability of a solid home or something that they can anchor to. And for you, that's not necessary. Okay. So we'll take a look at what else we need to clear from the root chakra just to get that final little piece out of there that needs to go. Okay. You've done a lot of work here. You've done a lot of work surrounding your divine feminine and your creativity, your sexual energy as well. Have you been working with your Kundalini?
I think maybe by accident, I tried to ask a yoga teacher about what I was feeling, but she didn't know. So I have no idea.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to know. For me, I wasn't even aware of it because it didn't happen spontaneously. It happened very gradually. I would feel the heat from it, but at that point I was like, well, I'm in my 40s. Maybe I'm having hot flashes. You know what I mean? Like I had no idea, but now I can sort of tell the difference between those two things. I can tell the difference between what is my Kundalini and not. You'll eventually figure out what is the Kundalini energy and what isn't. But yours is very subtle as well. So it's not like it's going to be hugely impactful in terms of a lot of people have sort of uncomfortable experiences with their Kundalini, but that's not something you'll have.
What is it? I don't even know what it is, honestly.
It is life force energy. Okay. And it starts at the base of the spine. So at the root chakra. So what they're showing me right now is if you can imagine that divine source energy coming in through your crown, your Kundalini energy is what keeps us here. It keeps us grounded and keeps us in these earthly bodies. And the combination of the Kundalini and the divine source energy is what kind of creates a beautiful symbiotic energy that allows us to be able to be in our divine bodies as well as our human bodies. So this is not a textbook definition of it. This is just sort of a channel that they're giving me right now. So this is sort of information straight from source. Okay.
Okay.
Many people might have different definitions of what Kundalini is, but this is what they're telling me that it is.
Okay.
Okay, so there is a little bit of that darker orange behind your sacral chakra, similar to your root. So I'm guessing that whatever happened was tied to that same lifetime that you've been clearing. But like I said, it's very, very faint. It's not very strong because you've been doing a lot of work. So it's on its way out.
Excellent.
What they're showing me is that your solar plexus chakra is really bright and really beautiful. And then I see like a steel trap door just like shutting on top of it. And that is you. That is not a past life. That is you actually shutting down your solar plexus chakra. So that's your self-confidence, your feeling of empowerment. I'm hearing that you have a lot of thoughts and a lot of things that kind of go on in your head that sort of disempower yourself. And they're saying to you that it's not necessary. You can reprogram the brain to stop that sort of chatter because it's not doing you a service.
Okay.
So this might actually represent a lot of things that you've gone through in terms of having to conform or people telling you to conform. There's a lot of messages here about conformity and the fact that you are not meant to conform.
I feel that.
You're also not meant to follow in other people's footsteps. You're meant to sort of make your own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when that steel trapdoor shuts, it's basically when you're giving your power away, when you're trying to do something that either somebody else wants you to do or you know is not aligned for you.
Yeah.
And they're saying to me that this also has to do with your consistency. So when you were mentioning your consistency, we'll get a little bit further and deeper into that later on. But when you were talking about it, the first thing that came to me was that the reason why you're inconsistent is because you might be doing something that is not aligned for you. That maybe there's something that society or something that says somebody says you need to take these supplements or you need to eat this way or you need to exercise that way. And your body's like, no, like, no, I need to do something else. And so you'll be consistent about something when it's aligned for you. That's when things will start to become more consistent for you. But like I said, we'll dive a little bit further into that later. It's interesting. So you're looking at your heart and you're saying to your heart, I don't know you. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. It's like your heart and you have been separated, not actually, but it feels that way.
Yeah.
I would like you to do a little visualization and I'd like you to imagine a little point of light at the top of your head and imagine that point of light going all the way down into your heart space. And that's your heart. And I just want you to sit in that energy for a moment. And what does that energy feel like to you?
It feels like two sides of the same coin. Like it feels good and it feels bad. Like I was getting like battered and torn were like the words that were coming into my head.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So there is no judgment regarding either the good or the bad. It just is what it is. And so I just wanted you to be able to feel that. And part of what you're going to be doing moving forward is going to be a lot more connecting to your heart space. Okay. So your crown chakra feels very tingly. It's almost like it's newly fully opened, like it was partially opened for a really long time and it's just recently opened fully. And the messages that are coming in are pretty strong, but you're not quite sure what to do with them yet.
Yes, I feel that.
So there's a little bit of an interpretation issue. So you're getting messages and you're like, I don't know what that means. Like, what is that? And that's okay. That's pretty standard for being able to access all of that information and then being able to then discern what needs to be interpreted and what doesn't, because often some of the information doesn't even need to be interpreted. It is literally just information for your body and for your soul. So like you as a human don't necessarily need to do anything with that information.
That's good to know.
And so your third eye is in the process right now of trying to figure out how to decipher what information is needed, what information isn't, what information is waiting to be interpreted for later, what needs to be interpreted now, what needs to be put down and allow the soul to just process it as opposed to the humans. It's sort of disseminating the information right now. So your throat chakra is like a forest green.
Oh, interesting.
Which is super interesting given the fact that it's supposed to be blue. But what it says to me is it is where you try to place your words of love because you aren't connected to your heart and because you haven't been for a while. It's like you're trying to express your love through words as opposed to through energy and through your heart. Because the dark green, there's nothing negative in there. It's like warm and it's like a hug. So it's very kind, very sweet, very loving. And so what we want to do is we want to bring that energy down into the heart space and allow your voice to simply be an expression of what is in your heart. Because right now what's happening is that you're expressing what you think you need to express when it comes to love, but that's all in the brain. So we need to move that down into the heart. Okay. So does that have anything to do with any past lives? It does. It has to do with the same lifetime that we're going to cover. Okay. Got it. And from practical terms, they're saying to me that like it's easy for you to say I love you to people for like, you know, let's say your mom or family members or friends. It's easy to say I love you, but it's not rooted in your heart. And it's not to say that you don't love them, but it's like the reason why it's easy is because it's not deeply rooted in the heart. So once you root that into the heart, it might get a little harder to start saying that because you're going to start to feel it, but eventually it'll all kind of come together. So not to worry, it'll be a transition period you'll be going through for a couple of months.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Hello to Akula, my Akashic Guide. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. So good to see you. Thank you to Archangel Metatron and Archangel Sandalphon for being here as well. Today we are opening up the Akashic Records. Thank you. They want to go to your mom first, actually.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so have they had past lives together? They have. Are they soul family? They are not. Okay. They have had a lot of challenges together, especially in past lives. They've been challenging each other for quite some time. They've been doing this purposely because this is something that they are learning from each other. They've set out to do this. This has been very purposeful. Okay, are there any past lives that we need to look at between the two of them? Yes, just one. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the one you need to show us. This is going to give you context for your relationship in this lifetime. I'm not seeing that this lifetime has super duper challenges. It's not like it's super crazy challenging, but this is going to give you sort of an idea as to why the relationship is what it is and how you kind of came to this place together. The first thing I'm hearing is she's saying, I love you very much. I don't want you to forget that. The first thing I'm seeing is your mom is in a kitchen of some sort, and you're one of many children she has. She has 10 children in this lifetime, and you're one of the youngest. And I'm seeing her, she has something in her hand. I don't know what it is, but it's like black and round. And it's almost like she's like hitting you with it, but she's not doing it like maliciously, but she's just kind of like trying to get you to get out of the kitchen, basically. So she's kind of shooing you away, telling you to go do something. She's very frazzled. She has literally no energy left of her own, which is understandable given 10 children. I keep on hearing her say, all I want is a moment of peace.
Yeah, she says that now.
How many siblings do you have in this lifetime?
3, plus myself is 4.
More manageable, but still a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing little lights pop up. And what they're showing me is the lights are the different children in this particular lifetime that you are connected to her on a soul level. So you're connected to her. Your brother is connected to her. He's a bit older. Your other older sister is connected to her, and a younger sister is connected to her. So the 4 of you are, in fact, the same children that she has now.
Oh, like the past life?
Yep.
All the same siblings?
All the same siblings. Yep.
Oh, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the 4 of you have sort of followed her over the last couple of lifetimes, and she's always been your mom. Like that's always been the case in these last 3 lifetimes. They're correcting me. It wasn't consecutive. So it was 3 lifetimes ago, and then there was a lifetime where you weren't all connected together. You weren't all incarnated, and then you have this lifetime. It's just been 2 lifetimes technically.
Okay.
Patience is one of the things that you're learning from her. She has this incredible ability, even if she's frazzled, even if she's like losing her mind. She has this incredible ability to stay very like centered and calm on the inside, even though like her outside might be frazzled, but it's like inside she's very chill and very calm. which is difficult for her too, because she feels that calm, but then on the outside, like it's almost like all the stimulus outside is creating the frenzy. So it's actually not even in her energy field.
That's interesting.
Well, it makes complete sense, because when we are in our state of balance, we can be in that state of balance for an eternity if there's no outside influence, right? But the second you have outside influence, that's what can sort of put us off balance, or that's what can kind of take us out of that state. That is something that she is learning on a soul level, and it's something that she is getting really good at, is following that balance and understanding that the outside stimuli might affect your physical being, but it's only going to affect it for a short amount of time. It's not going to be forever. She is sort of mastering this ability to allow things to happen and let them go. And that's something that she's working on. And that's something that the four of you have incarnated with her to learn as well.
That's really funny. They're not doing that great of a job yet.
Who is not?
All of them. I worry about them all the time. They're
your siblings, or your siblings and your mom?
Everybody. They're all just drowning in their thoughts and their past.
And you know what? The thing is that is their journey. So we need to be drowning in order to find our way out. And you also have to consider the fact that this is just one little snapshot of what is going on currently, as opposed to understanding the entire trajectory of each person in the family. Okay, so let's take a look a little bit further from what we need to see in this past life with you and your mom. You learned to be very self-sufficient in that life. You had to, because there were so many children, like you couldn't get mom's attention most of the time. And the thing is that, oh, this is really cool. What was interesting is that all the rest of the siblings were in a space of getting mom's attention in a negative way. So they were crying, they were getting hurt, they were like, it was all sorts of like drama. And so mom would go and, take care of it and give them their attention. But you never did that. Like, I'm just seeing you very quietly play on your own. And so when mom gave you love, it was because she came to you and just gave you love without having any sort of outside need for that love, if that makes sense.
Right. It wasn't forced.
Correct. And she really loved that. She loved that aspect of it because she didn't feel like you needed her. And it allowed her to really open up that love for you. Whereas with all the rest of the siblings, it wasn't necessarily opening up love. It was reacting to every single situation that was happening. And so she really didn't have time to cultivate or give them love. And so you and her actually created quite a good bond.
So strange.
It's funny that when we look at some of these past lives and see how different things have been in previous lifetimes with people, you can start to see who they are on a soul level. And this is what really helps us in this lifetime. It helps us see who they really are. Okay. And it also can help you see how you can respond to her.
We don't have a relationship. I haven't talked to her in 3 years.
Okay. They're saying to me that that's okay. There shouldn't be any guilt surrounding that right now.
That's good to know.
That's the journey that you're supposed to be on right now with her. They're saying, don't get ahead of ourselves. Okay. We'll get there eventually. Okay. Got it. Perfect. Okay. So let's continue with this past life then.
Okay.
This kind of created a lot of resentment in the other siblings because they saw the type of love that your mom gave to you. And they saw that it was different. They saw that the energy was different. It was like there was a direct pathway to her heart. And it was simply because you were just being. You weren't trying to get her love. Your father in that lifetime wasn't very present. He would come in and give the kids gifts and things like that, but that was about it. You would get toys from him every once in a while. She wanted his love more than anything. It was the one thing that she couldn't really get. He was so distant and not present, and that made her incredibly, incredibly sad. Okay, so that was just a side note. So with the rest of the siblings having all of this resentment about her feelings for you and the way that she expressed her love to you, she actually started to withdraw some of that love from you because she didn't want to show that she was playing favorites. So the bond that you created in that younger version of you, and I'm seeing from the age of like 2 to about 6 or 7. Like 7 was when she started to pull away from you and not give you that pure love that she used to give you. And the reason why is because, because the thing is that her energy field is so affected by the drama and by everything else that goes on around her because this is something that she's working on as a soul. It's almost like she couldn't handle it and she just wanted it to stop. And the only way that she knew how to make it stop or make it was to get rid of the problem. And the problem was their jealousy over how she treated you. So she basically withdrew the way that she treated you and started treating you like she treated everyone else in the family. And it worked for a time. The drama sort of subsided for a time. But for your brothers and sisters, not only the ones that you have now, but also the other ones that were in this particular lifetime, there was always something. There was always something going on, some sort of drama, some sort of challenge, some sort of something. It just sort of perpetuated this feeling or this need to always be available to them to help them with their problems.
That's my life now with them.
And it's like your mom is like putting out fire after fire after fire after fire. And then she stopped. And keep in mind, this is in the previous lifetime. She stopped putting out the fires because she got sick. Like all of that drama and all of the energy that she was absorbing that she wasn't walking away from was making her sick. It was at that time that the family finally came together and helped her because she was sick. I'm seeing a lot of the kids are in their teens at this time. You were 16 when this happened in the previous lifetime. I'm just seeing that like she's basically on her deathbed and she was spent. All of the energy was just basically sucked out of her. She didn't realize that it wasn't her job to save every single one of her children. There is a misconception about motherhood often in the current development of society. And that is that a mother has to save her child, that a mother has to do everything she can to make sure her child succeeds. And while that is the case when they are very young, once they get to adulthood, that is no longer their journey. Once they become old enough where they can start making their own decisions and start taking care of themselves, that is when the mother's job is done in that respect. Now, of course, mothers can continue to help if they have the bandwidth and if it is healthy to do so. But if it is not healthy to do so, then it is just like any other codependent relationship. It is like any other relationship that is rooted in fear or lower energies. And this is what has happened to your mother in this current lifetime as well. She has been consumed by the lower energies. So what's interesting is I'm seeing you in this lifetime and I'm seeing you be that little beacon of light that you have been in the past and that you were in this previous lifetime. And it's almost as if you're saying to her, Mom, can't you see who I am? Can't you see who I am? And she's just not responding and she's not seeing it. And this made you really, really sad that she wasn't able to recognize who you were. She wasn't able to see who you were. Can you tell me what led to you disconnecting from her?
She was abusive and I was blinded by it until I was like, oh, there's a butterfly. How beautiful. I was blinded by it until I was 28 and I just had this feeling my whole life that I needed to figure out how to have like a good relationship with her and like moved back in with her to kind of like try and reconcile. But after having been on my own for a while and coming back, she started to treat me like she did before. It was then that I realized that like essentially I was just like an emotional and mental like punching bag. I was just like a plaything for her in a way, or like her coat of armor, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And there's something about the fact that she has been doing this since this previous lifetime. And this is a holdover from when she basically decided to stop showing her love for you for fear of retaliation from the other kids. And this is continued into this lifetime. Is this something that we can clear? It is not. It is something that she needs to realize. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I kind of gave up on that one.
Well, the thing is that when it comes to moving forward with relationships like this, when we work on these relationships, when we work on them energetically, we can continue to work on them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to have them in our lives. Okay. You working on this relationship energetically is for you. It is not necessarily for a reconciliation. Now, sometimes that can happen, but for the time being, it's not necessary. So what they're saying to me is that you knowing the context of this is important because you have to understand that you did sign up for this experience with her in this lifetime as well as in the previous lifetimes. When we sign up for these experiences, so like I said in the beginning, you sign up for this experience experience with her to be able to learn how to stay in your center while you have all the outside stimuli is going on, with all the outside influence going on. And this is something that she is really good at as a soul. She's not really good at it as a human right now. The last couple of lifetimes for her, it has been incredibly, incredibly difficult to maintain that balance. And sometimes that can be for various different reasons. It can be because we signed up for too much. We took on too much for a particular lifetime. Our souls thought that we would be good doing X, Y, and Z things, and turns out we really were not. It really depends on what her trajectory was. For your purposes, you signed up to learn from her, and you have. You have learned from her. You have been able to start to cultivate your own love within yourself and not have to get that from her, as well as understand that whatever outside stimuli is going on, you have to make the decisions that are right for you to be able to keep your balance. Even though those things are challenging, and even though, like I said in the beginning, a lot of the things you've experienced with her are challenging, it has given you the result as a soul that you've been looking for. Okay?
Yeah, I do feel that, like, within the last year, I feel like things are starting to kind of be like, I understand now, and like I don't regret any of it, like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, so is there anything else that we need to cover regarding her mother? Yes. Okay. In the past life? No. In the current life? Yes. Okay. What else do you need to tell us? The next piece that you're going to be working on is forgiveness. You're going to be working on the forgiveness of her for all of the things that she's done. Okay. Do you understand how to forgive somebody? And I know that's a strange question to ask, but it is pertinent. So do you know how to do that?
I thought I did, but now that I'm being asked that question, maybe I don't. Like, I don't know. Maybe I have like a self-protection mechanism around forgiving. I'm not sure.
Forgiveness is often releasing the energy of the other person, as well as your own energy as it pertains to certain circumstances or situations. So if you want to look at the situation as a whole with your mother and release any tie to it, any blame of her to it, release any blame of yourself regarding the situation, it's about letting go of that and releasing all of it. Releasing the anger, the blame, the shame, the sadness.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I think that deep down, the reason that I haven't been able to do that completely is because there won't be anything left of her.
So basically, the only thing that you have to hold on to her right now is that lack of forgiveness, like the anger or the sadness or whatever it is that you can hang on to. And then once you let that go, then that's it. There's nothing left of the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to do a little timeline work surrounding her right now. And I would like you to imagine that you're standing in a void, and behind you is a line. It's a timeline outstretched before you. And this is the timeline that represents every single year that you have been alive in this particular life. And I would like you to travel back to a particular period of time that is significant for you regarding your mom and your relationship with her. It can be the moment that you felt betrayed by her. It could be the moment you felt hurt or unloved. It can be something that goes back all the way into the womb if that's necessary. And we're not looking for a memory here. We're looking for a feeling from your intuition as to what age you need to go to right now.
Intuitively, I feel like before I was even born.
Before you were even born. Okay. So does this feel like in the womb?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I would like you to stand in front of your mother who is pregnant with you at this time. And I would like you to grab her hands, and I would like you to ask her how she's feeling and what is going on within her at this time.
She's scared and angry.
Can she tell you why?
Because she doesn't know if I'm going to survive.
Why is she afraid that you're not going to survive?
She was bleeding all the time. The doctors told her I wasn't going to make it.
Could you feel the love from her?
It's just stress. It's chaos, and there's no stillness.
Yeah. So that stillness that we were talking about that she has naturally as a soul, like it was just not even there. Can you ask your mom what she needs right now in that moment as she's pregnant with you and she's stressed out?
The first thing that came to my head was like wine.
Can you ask her what else?
I don't think that she even knows.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what she needs. She's scared. I see her getting mad at everybody. Yeah.
So then can you connect to the little infant fetus version of you inside of your mom? And can you feel into your energy and how you felt in her energy?
Yeah, just like what the heck is going on? Just yeah, it's the fear and the anger, and it's the same thing. It's not knowing what I need.
Okay.
It's like we're both like just confused.
Yeah. So what I would like to do is I would like to put a bubble of divine light protection around that infant fetus version of you. And we're going to put that bubble of protection around you and have any and all of her energy be dispelled from this bubble. And so you might hear or see some sort of chaos going on outside the bubble, but inside the bubble, you are nice and safe and protected. And can she feel the difference now this energy bubble is around her?
I'm not sure, but I just see her smiling.
Okay, good. Okay, so then can you ask her what it is that she needs if she knows at this time?
She wants to play like Ring Around the Rosie.
So she wants to play.
Yeah.
Amazing. So that just gives us an idea that there's some lightheartedness going on in there, which is contrary to what she was feeling earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I would like you to fast forward to the day you were born, and I would like you to check in with that version of yourself and ask her if that bubble of protection is still around her and if she still feels like playing, if she feels very calm.
There's still some fear there. I don't trust my parents. I'm like, oh God, I'm really in for it this time.
I would like you to connect to that version of you and just let her know that you are here for her, that you're the grown-up version of her and that you can be there for her anytime she needs you.
I'm getting a lot of like backlash. You're the person that I can't trust.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So why does she feel she can't trust you?
I mean, it just goes back to the questions that I had at the beginning. I don't feel like I'm taking care of my body correctly. I don't feel like I'm taking care of my life correctly, and I have a really hard time like trusting myself. And yeah, I feel like I'm in like a constant like struggle with myself every day, and get to a point where I just do whatever somebody else wants me to do because I get confused. Like, I don't know what to do.
Okay. This makes a lot of sense given the fact that you have been separated from your heart. So not knowing how to connect to your heart and not knowing what is right for you on a heart level makes a lot of the decisions that we make in our day-to-day life, it makes things very, very difficult. We're going to leave the baby there for the moment, and we're going to keep that bubble of divine light protection so she is protected from your mother's energy. And then we're going to go down this exploration for you and what you feel is right for you in your life.
Okay. I'm here. I'm with you, Annette. This is great.
Okay. Can you give me an example of something that you don't know if you're on the right path and that you are feeling kind of lost about?
Oh, yes. The biggest part of my life right now is that I just don't feel like I feel like my soul is being crushed at the job I'm at. And I have this really big pull to go to Ecuador and start like this dream project I've been wanting to do. I have stability here. I'm making money, and the people that I work with think I'm really talented, and so it's really difficult to feel secure physically, but like a heart or like soul level, I just feel totally like not okay.
Yeah. How long have you been feeling like that?
Oh, actually, pretty much my whole life. I did ayahuasca like a month ago, like opened up my heart for the first time since I was a kid. Like since then, I've just felt like I was just blossoming into the reality of who I am, but it is bringing up a lot of complications because I've already put 30 years or so into a different person.
A lot of times when we go through these transitions, there's a lot of the destruction that comes along with it. And the destruction sometimes comes quickly, sometimes it comes slowly. It just depends on the transition. Right now, you have come to the realization that you have been living your life for other people, or basically through society, if that's a good way of putting it. So essentially you were living your life according to what you think your life should have been or should be.
Yeah, or like what other people would be happiest with.
Yes. And so now you're starting to realize and see that you want to actually start to live your life for you. And part of the challenge of that is that when you've never really checked in with yourself to see what it is that is aligned for you, that's really, really tough to start doing when it's not something that you've been used to. So when you feel into your heart, so I want to go back to your heart space for a moment. Can you describe to me what would make your heart soar with joy right now?
Ultimate freedom. Like, I just want to be able to create the things that are on my mind and like that resonate with me, and get paid for it, and live where I want to live, and eat the food that I want to eat, and say what I want to say. Like, just freedom, I guess.
Can you feel what that feels like in your heart?
It feels like I can breathe deep. Like, it feels like I don't have as much pressure on my chest.
Beautiful. And I want you to hold on to that feeling, okay? Because that is how you're going to start to manifest the opportunities that will come your way that will be aligned with that feeling, okay? So anytime anybody is asking you to do something or you're about to make a decision, I want you to feel into the decision, and I want you to check in with your heart and ask yourself, does it give me this expansive feeling? Does it give me this feeling of freedom? And if it doesn't, it is not something that you are going to do.
Yeah, the struggle there is that I feel like the opposite of expansive, like pretty much every day, all day long. Like, I like work and live in the same place. It's like I get asked to do something for work, and if I say no, I basically need to like quit and like
Right.
place to live. So it's like that's where I'm at, where my expansiveness is like, when I think about being free and expansive, I think about quitting this job.
Well, and sometimes that's not possible to do right away, but this is the thing that you can do on small things, by the way. Okay. If you start doing this in little tiny incremental changes, it'll start opening up for the bigger changes. You were talking about like waking up when you want to wake up, or eat what you want to eat, or whatever it happens to be. Okay. Well, since you have the job, maybe right now you can't do that every day, but on a day that you can, play with that energy. What does it feel like if I were to go and eat this particular meal? Or what would it feel like if I slept an extra hour today or took a nap? Or what would it feel like to go and do something that I haven't done before, or take one more step towards the life that I want to live, right? So you mentioned moving to Ecuador, and like, I'm just hearing yes, 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 and I'm getting chills right now. So this is something that is absolutely aligned for you, but I want to ask you why you feel aligned with going there.
Well, the crazy thing is that, sorry, that was pretty emotional for me. I went there, and that's the place that I went to do my ceremony. And I stayed in this little surfer town that was like 40 minutes away from it, and just had just so much peace and calm. And the people that were around me were, they were a lot like me. And community that surrounds the like retreat center where I did the ceremony at was so just like amazing. And it just felt like it was a place where I could really, like hunker down and like create, and also have people around me who like I could be myself with.
And a lot of that has to do with the fact that you are around people that are more energetically aligned for you. You're moving from one energy where you were aligning yourself with things that maybe didn't serve you. You were aligning yourself with things that you thought other people wanted for you, or that you thought that the universe wanted for you, versus going into your heart space and now truly aligning with other people. So now you've had that experience in Ecuador now, where you've seen and felt what it feels like to connect on a heart level.
Yeah.
And now that's what you want, because you're saying, now I know what that feels like, right?
Yeah.
What you can do is you can ask the universe to send you people in your current life right now that are aligned for you. And they may show up in the most random of places. Like, you may meet somebody on your boat that is randomly in the same place that you are, and maybe you only connect with them for a day or 2 days, but it'll be enough to help you get that momentum going in terms of where you are aligned and where your heart is aligned. Okay. Now, what kind of steps could you take to, let's say, quit your job and move to Ecuador?
The thing is that I'm trying so hard to like stay in my body, and like I'm at a point of like almost self-sabotaging. Like when I'm around my boss or like people who are important, I just like slip of the mouth say things that like I just want them to fire me. You know what I mean? They love me so much that it would never happen. And it's not like big like rude things, just like I never get a day off and like just complaining sometimes. The thing is that after this summer, so come this fall, they promised that I would be on a rotation where I get 2 months on, 2 months off. Like, I don't know if that's true or not because they've lied to me about stuff before just to keep me around. My brain is like, just stay until the fall, and then if they don't get a rotational crew, then you're gonna quit and you can go to Ecuador and you can go create art there. And my my body and my soul is like, no, leave now. Like every moment you're here is damaging you. It's really the financial security I think is kind of keeping me around.
I want you to feel into the possibility of, let's say you go to your job, your current job, and you say to them, okay, I'm willing to do the 2 months on, 2 months off come fall. I want this in writing, and ask them for it in writing now. What does that feel like for you?
It feels scary. It feels like they would find a reason not to.
If they were to say, no, we're not going to put it in writing, what do you feel right now in your heart that you need to do?
I don't know. Like my heart just turned off. Like I feel trapped. I feel like I can't breathe.
There are several different timelines for you at this time. If you were to do the rotation, the 2 months on, 2 months off, that would give you some freedom to be able to go down to Ecuador, spend some time there, be able to sort of assess what you want to do and where you want to go. I am seeing somehow that you might be involved in some sort of nonprofit organization. Maybe it's like helping set up infrastructure or something like that, where you would be talking to people day to day. Not that you would be part of like organization or anything like that, but it's like almost like a PR person or somebody that is just really talking to people and connecting with people. Okay. So like there's a possibility to do that. There's a possibility for you to establish yourself in Ecuador in a way that is aligned for you, where you can make money while doing your art, while living there. Like it is going to be like a 3-part system for you, because you will need to create space for yourself to be creative and have that freedom while still having a job and supporting yourself. And you will be able to find that balance. It's just you're going to have to explore different options.
I don't know. I feel like explore different options means you're going to be poor.
Well, not necessarily. They're showing me that the cost of living there is pretty low. So like you're not going to need much to be there. Okay. The thing is that like you have a lot of skills that you could play on. All right. So even if you do this 2 months on, 2 months off, like you'll still have money coming in. You'll still be able to go to Ecuador. And over the course of time, you'll eventually be able to quit the job and you'll be able to figure out what you're going to be doing in Ecuador to actually support yourself.
That resonates so well. I just got chills. Like that's what I want to do.
Beautiful. So when you feel that and that feels right for you, that's the direction to go in. It should alleviate that feeling of your heart shutting off and feeling like the door is closed because you can't move forward, because you don't know where you're going to move forward, right? If you want to make sure that this happens, then mention it to your boss that, hey, I would like to get this in writing that I'm going to be doing 2 months on, 2 months off, because I'm going to have to start planning what I'm going to be doing in those 2 months off. So I'm going to need this in writing that this is going to happen, and then see what happens. And if they say yes, awesome, they'll do it. If they say no, then you can deal with it then. But it's something that they're saying that you need to ask for, because you might be surprised. Like the fear might be getting the best of you, and they might be totally fine with giving it to you in writing, but you've never really asked. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. Nice.
Okay. So I want to check in with that baby version of you again.
Okay.
So is she still not trusting you?
Let's see. She's just saying like, you've always known.
Beautiful. So what I want you to do is I want you to check in with her every so often. Okay. Just like if you're just going about your day, just every so often, just check in with her and ask her how she's doing. Ask her how that trust is doing between the two of you, because you're going to need to build that trust. Okay.
Gives me something to work on before I move to Ecuador.
Exactly. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to move into that past life that I saw that was in your root chakra and your sacral, so we can finally clear that. And like I said, this is something that you've been clearing for many lifetimes. I'm hearing for 7 different lifetimes.
Oh, wow.
That's why it's almost completely clear. It's almost done. I'm getting that you're a nanny. You're playing peekaboo with a child, like a baby, probably 1-year-old, 1.5, something like that. You're quite young yourself. I'm hearing that you're 12, but that was pretty common for back then with nannies. Younger children would often nanny for other small children. So it was pretty common back then. You had a hard time trusting your instincts. You had a hard time trusting like that you could do what you needed to do for this child that you were nannying for. You came from a pretty poor family, and this was something that you needed to do in order to bring money to your family. This family was relatively wealthy, and you really did need to do everything you could to keep this job. But you really didn't know what to do in a lot of circumstances because you were a child yourself. It was very hard to know exactly what you needed to do in any given moment. You had been a nanny before, but only for like 4 months. So your experience with children was pretty minimal. The family hired you simply because it was sort of a favor to the family because they knew that you needed money and there weren't a lot of options for them at the time. The mother was an invalid, which is why the nanny was necessary. And the father was often gone. Okay, so there's a lot of fear here because there would be certain things that would happen. Like, let's say the baby had a fever and you would have no idea what to do. And you couldn't ask anybody. There wasn't anybody around to ask. There wasn't anybody around to help. They had servants from time to time, but they weren't on full time. So sometimes it was just you and the mother, and that was it. And she was not available most of the time to interject anything because she was on a lot of medicines that sort of made her out of it. Yeah, that's why this is still affecting you right now, because it's like your feeling of being trapped, that feeling that you're feeling. That's kind of how I'm feeling for you in this previous lifetime, that feeling of like not knowing what to do, not knowing where to go, how to proceed. You eventually did figure it out, though, for the most part. You took the child to the doctor one time. You brought the child back from the doctor and it got worse. Whatever the doctor said the child had wasn't what the child had. And it like whatever medicine he gave made the child worse. And then you got sick. Yeah, this has a lot to do with you not trusting yourself, too. This is something that's been going on for many, many lifetimes for you. So you go to the mother. She's lucid, but still out of it. And you're saying to her, like, I'm really, really sick. The baby's really, really sick. I don't have the energy to take the baby to the doctor. And she's saying, call my husband. And you're like, your husband isn't in town. Like, he's not even here. And you're asking her, is there anyone else that we can call? And she says, yes, call my sister. So you call her sister. Her sister is not in town either, but she says she can be there in the morning. You don't know what to do because, like, literally you are so sick that you can't even hold the baby. Like, you can't even do anything. You can't even take care of the child. You were not only afraid for your own life, but you were afraid for the child's life as well. You did call the doctor. You asked him to come in for a house call. He wasn't available until later on that evening, so he did come. He asks you why you didn't call him earlier. And it's something that it didn't dawn on you. Like, it's just not something, you were 12. Like, it's just not something that you thought of. You didn't realize that you could call him and ask him to come to the house, especially given your economic status at home, being from a poorer family. That's not something doctors would do. They wouldn't come to your house because it would just be too expensive. The doctor is quite angry with you, actually. He tells you to get away. He knows that you're just as sick as the child is, but he doesn't do anything about it. He basically just tends to the child first. You went home. You didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know if the doctor was going to stay with the baby until the next morning when her sister arrived or what, but he basically told you to leave. The rest of your family got sick as well. Over the next coming days, like, you didn't know what happened to the child. You tried to check in on the child after you started feeling better. You knocked on the door. Nobody answered. You never heard from the family again. I'm hearing the father say something like incompetent child. There was a lot of guilt and shame surrounding this whole incident because not only did you potentially put the baby's life at risk, but then you put your family's life at risk by coming back home and getting them sick. Everybody recovered. It wasn't that anybody died, but it was enough to put a lot of fear and shame into your energy field, feeling like you cannot make the right decisions, that you cannot do the things that are right, that you are not capable. And basically all this boiled down to was the fact that you were young. You were very, very young. You didn't know how to handle these types of situations, but you really took on that burden and you took on that guilt. of what could have happened. And I'm hearing your mom from that lifetime say to you, it didn't happen. Like all the worst things that you have in your head, they did not happen. And you're saying, yes, but they could have. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that we need to know about that lifetime? Not at this time. Okay. So yeah, a lot of the things that you've been working on over the last several lifetimes has been about your personal power, trusting yourself, trusting your decisions, being able to understand that if you make a wrong decision, like you don't have to wear that badge of shame for the rest of your life. You know, things happen. People make wrong decisions or not aligned decisions. It happens sometimes. And so having that forgiveness of self is important. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else we need to do to clear her chakras? No, they're being cleared as we speak now that she's aware of this particular situation. Okay. Got it. Perfect. We're going to do a little practice. So I want you to ask your body right now, what does it feel like it needs for today?
Like my back just hurts. It's kind of a struggle because I do ask my body that kind of stuff. And then I get back like, well, this hurts and this hurts. And so then I, do research and I try and figure out how to like fix it. And there's just like so much out there and it starts to feel like a dead end. And I get kind of exhausted with that. I don't know. Like I just feel like my body knows what it wants, but I don't know how to give it to it.
Okay. So do you have any pains right now?
Yes, I do, all over. My back is really, really bad. I have like scoliosis in my neck. Like I have like this stabbing pain. Like I honestly think this is like ancestral, but like I have this like stabbing pain, almost like a knife that goes through my back and into like the side of my chest. Yeah, I'm like so weak. Like I'm so freaking like weak, like I'm not strong. And then as soon as I like start to do a workout, it's like I do one and then I just forget about working out for like a week and a half. I can't get anywhere.
All right, so let me do a little check-in here. Okay, so is any of the pain that she's feeling in her body, is any of this ancestral? It is not. Does any of it have to do with a past life? It does. Okay. The stabbing pain she was talking about in her back, that is past life. Okay. I don't know why I'm seeing an arrow. Is that what that is? It is. Okay. Okay, can we see what happened, please? I don't know why they're saying this to me, but they're saying something about holy war.
Mm.
You were a man in this lifetime. You were an archer.
That's beautiful.
So what they're showing me is that when there were wars back then, you would have your archers and then you would have the people behind them with trebuchets or some sort of cannons or whatever it happens to be. And then the archers, they would sort of be facing off to each other. So like there would be a volley of arrows that would fly in the air and then it would hit other archers, it would hit other people, and that's actually what happened to you. So basically you got hit with an arrow that went in through your chest and down through your back. It's like a very extreme angle for some reason. Well, it makes sense, I guess, with the trajectory of it. Okay, that makes sense. And that's how you died in that lifetime.
Okay, that's nice to know.
So why would she still have like pains in her body from that lifetime then? Because it was a traumatic lifetime and she was not meant to die in that way. She was not meant to die in that way and in that time. Okay, so is there anything we can do to alleviate the pain that she's feeling in her current body? Yes. All right, so I'm going to ask for your guardian angels as well as Archangel Raphael to clear any energy regarding this past lifetime, to clear the trauma surrounding the death in this lifetime, to clear the surprise of you dying in that lifetime in that particular way, in that particular time, because your soul knew the time and way you were going to die in that particular lifetime, and that wasn't it. And so this is what's creating this sort of discord in your energy field. It's also creating some fear of dying when you're not meant to.
Yes, yeah, I do have that.
So then I would like that wherever those points are where she was hit with the arrow, I would like those to be closed up with divine creator light. Okay, so then I would like you to imagine that you have a divine light coming in through your crown chakra, and allow that light to clear and cleanse any energy that does not belong to you anymore, that does not serve you anymore. And imagine that light going down through your crown chakra, over your forehead, permeating and touching every single cell in your body. Down your nose, your lips, your chin, your neck, the back of your neck, your back, your shoulders, down your spine, your chest, sides of your body, down your arms, all the way to the ends of your fingertips, all of your organs, down your torso, to your hips, down to your knees, all the way to the ends of your toes. And any psychic debris, any energy from previous lifetimes that is still hanging out in your body that doesn't serve you, we're going to ask to be transmuted into light at this time. Thank you. It is done. Okay, thank you. So they're saying to me, anytime you have that pain that comes up, they want you to do that little meditation and imagine that light sort of going through the body, clearing and cleansing any energy from any past life, anything that does not serve you, and just continue to do that until the pain subsides.
Okay. I think I can do that.
In terms of consistency of what your body needs, it is going to be an exploration. You're going to need to explore what it is that your body needs and what you need for yourself in any given moment. And that's part of what is sort of screaming at you right now as far as your current job for the alignment, because being on your feet as long as you are, doing the things that you're doing is definitely hard on your body. And there needs to be much more of a balance. They're saying you'll find that when you do the 2 months on, 2 months off, that your body will start to feel better.
Oh, that's good.
Well, because you'll have time to rest, right?
I work 16 hours a day, pretty much every day. Like, this is my first day off in a month, but yeah.
When you are able to spend time not doing what you're doing is when you're going to start to discover what your body needs. Because the problem is that your body is on almost autopilot right now because it knows that you need to wake up every day and you need to do the job and then you have to go to sleep, and it's basically that's all you're doing, right? So it's hard to have any consistency in anything if you basically don't have any time for yourself.
Yeah, that makes sense. Be a little less hard on myself.
Yes, that would be ideal, is to be a little less hard on yourself and give yourself a little bit more grace in understanding that this is just the situation you're in, albeit temporary, but it's just in the situation that you're in right now. Okay. Did you have any last minute questions before we close out?
I was just wondering, I've been trying to talk to my spirit guides, but I'm too scared, also at the same time. I'll be like if I start to feel an energy, I'm like, no, come near me. But also before I go to bed, I talk to them, and then I'm always telling them how grateful I am. And I was just wondering if they had anything that they wanted to tell me.
Don't worry, by the way, I was afraid of my guides too when I first started meeting them, so don't worry. It's kind of natural to have a little fear of the other side. I had heard stories of people saying oh, Archangel Michael just came into my room. He was this giant blue light being, and I'm like, yeah, that would scare the crap out of me. Please don't do that. So first thing to know is that you have control over how much you see and how much you don't. So your guides know that you have certain fears surrounding this. I don't see that they're gonna just appear to you in a giant angelic light form and scare the crap out of you. They're not gonna do that. Okay.
Okay.
In terms of any messages they have for you. Hold on one second. As Annette said, we don't want you to be hard on yourself anymore because you're starting to make the strides you need to make the change in your life, but change happens incrementally. It also happens slowly, especially on your planet. We want you to give yourself a little bit of grace and a little bit of peace and space to do the things that you want to do. When you did the ayahuasca ceremony, it awakened something in you pretty immediately. That is a realization that you made very quickly. And so now you have to do the work to align with what your new reality is going to be. We understand that this can be uncomfortable sometimes when you're going through that transition period. And if it is not happening fast enough, because now you can see where you're going and you want to be there now. But we want you to be present in the moment, and we want you to appreciate what you have now, even if it's something that is challenging. Where are the places in your day-to-day that you can appreciate something? Maybe it's just simply looking out at the sea, looking out at the water. Maybe it's something as simple as seeing some of the wildlife that you might see. Find something every day to be grateful for. Find something every day that you can connect to, and that will help the time move much more quickly. We love you, and we are always here for you, and don't be afraid of us. We are here to only help. Thank you. Okay, so we are going to close the Akashic Records. Thank you so much to Akula, my Akashic Guide. Thank you, Disguides, for giving us that beautiful message. The records are closed. The records are closed. The records are closed. Thank you. Amazing. How do you feel?
I feel very supported.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad for that. If you feel any sort of purging, crying, anything for the next couple of days, that's super normal. Just take very good care of yourself if you can. I know you're going to be working a lot, but make sure you're drinking enough water and hydrating, okay?
Okay, thank you. Yes, may I say one thing?
Yeah.
So I have you like posted up, and right behind the computer is a window that I was like looking out during our session. And I just kept seeing like all these different butterflies and birds that would normally not be around. And it was really beautiful.
Oh my gosh, that's so gorgeous. I love that. Yeah, so that's the wildlife they were talking about.
Yeah, 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 it's great. Yeah, thank you. Oh,
You're
thank
very
you.
welcome. I will talk to you soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. I would like to thank Chloe for participating in the podcast by allowing me to record her session and share her story with all of us. One of the first things we spoke of in this session was about her Kundalini and whether or not she had had her Kundalini awakening. Now, a lot of people talk about this because it is the quintessential in signs in terms of, have I had my awakening? Have I had my spiritual body awakening or not? I would like to channel a little bit more information about this simply because I feel that we put particular definitions to certain things that have been in the consciousness of society for thousands of years. And so we hang on to that definition based on what they knew thousands of years ago. And there's no problem with that. If you are learning some ancient techniques, it's beautiful to do. We just have to understand that some of these terminologies, techniques, rituals, the way that people operate within their spiritual journey changes based on the elevation of the planet, the people, and Earth herself. We're going to give a little bit more of an updated version of what it means to have a Kundalini awakening as it pertains to this current time. The Kundalini awakening is something that many hold sacred. And while it is a sacred event for any person, it is something that is also incredibly natural. It is a natural occurrence for every single human on this planet. It became sacred simply because in the past, it was something that was difficult to achieve. Whereas the awakening of your life force energy, of your base chakra energy that explodes into the rest of your body and chakra system, is something that is necessary for your chakras as well as your human body to function, to stay grounded, to be in your soul energy. It is part of a furnace system, if you will. Something that keeps everything moving. It keeps everything going. It allows things to not stay stagnant in any particular chakra. There is an element of the Kundalini energy that is associated with sexual energy and creative energy, and that is also true. It comes in through the sacral chakra and is translated by all other energies in the way that it moves, the way that it operates. It brings energy, creativity, and energy that is available to you at any time. The personal experience of how your Kundalini awakens has to do with the work that you've done. If you have done a lot of the work underneath the surface, maybe your Kundalini energy just has to break through that thin layer at the very top. And maybe it takes a very short amount of time to do so. We would not necessarily call that a spontaneous awakening because you have been doing the work to uncover and release all of the things that are preventing your Kundalini energy from being active. Once you are able to clear all of that and it finally breaks through, it feels like a warmth that goes through your body. And it also feels like a movement of sorts that is going through your body. And we will use the analogy again of a furnace. It's almost like you have a furnace that is in your body that has not been lit. And finally it is lit and it is functioning. You're going to feel the movement of that. There are others who might be able to clear their energy much faster, who might be able to move through the psychic debris and all of the things that prevent you from having this energy be active in your system.
And these can be spontaneous awakenings, and they can be uncomfortable. It's the difference between lighting a small flame in your furnace and then lighting the next and the next and the next versus lighting all of them at the same time. You can imagine the combustion and the force of that energy is much greater if you light them all at the same time. We do recommend that it is gradual so your body has time to adjust, as it's not uncomfortable or creates unnecessary trauma in the body. But oftentimes you don't have a choice in how it comes in. If you are trying to force it, we would suggest that you not. If you want to have your Kundalini energy activated, we recommend that you work on all of the things within you that are blocking it, not necessarily trying to artificially remove whatever that is in order to have the Kundalini awakening. The purpose is not to have the Kundalini awakening. The purpose is to clear the energy to allow your system to function as it was always meant to. We hope that gives you some context and understanding about why the Kundalini energy is important, but also how to go about understanding and seeking the reason why you might not have your Kundalini energy active at this time. If you don't know, you can simply ask your guides and your angels if it is active, and if it is not active, if it needs to be. You can also ask, if it does need to be active right now, then what can you do in order to help that be activated? This is a conversation that you have with your guides. This is not something that you just run into headlong into some ritual or modality in order to awaken your Kundalini, thinking that will solve your problems, that will make you connected even further. Your connection is nurtured, not exploded into existence. Okay, are there any other messages for us about that subject right now? No, not at this time. Okay, thank you. Okay, so moving on to the past life where we were looking at Chloe's relationship with her mother. And I found it very interesting that her mother was so much more drawn to her when she was not asking things from her. This is a really big topic to address, because I feel like we as a society have gotten stuck in this loop or pattern where asking for help is a way to get attention. Asking for somebody to do something for you or do you a favor is not only a way to connect to the person, but it also sets them up for potential failure, because you're asking them to do something for you. And if they do not do it, it shows that they do not love you. The thing that we need to extricate from this particular scenario is the notion that love is attached to what you can do for me or what I can do for you. In this scenario, her mother had all of these children asking all of these things of her, and Chloe was sitting in the background not asking anything of her. And to her mother, that felt like peace. That felt like love and connection, because she could just be in the presence of her daughter. She didn't have to perform. She didn't have to do anything. I want you to think about the relationships that you have in your life at this moment. How many of them are transactional? How many of them do you say, well, they didn't do this for me, so they must not love me? How many times are you asking for certain things just to get the attention of the person that you are speaking to? This is a classic codependent scenario where you may not necessarily need the help. Maybe you're perfectly capable of doing the task yourself, but you want to test the person or you want to ask the person to do this for you because you feel like it will bring you closer together. I want you to feel into the energy of that right now. So if you do have somebody in your life who you have this dynamic with, I want you to close your eyes and put your hand on your heart and feel into the energy of the dynamic between the two of you. Does it feel like a loving connection, or does it feel like grasping? Does it feel like you're always trying to get the person to come closer and they won't come closer? Are you trying to do everything in your power to create this closeness by either being needy or asking for things that maybe you don't necessarily need? Or are you offering too much to the other person in order to form that connection? Maybe you're on the opposite end of that spectrum where you are overgiving and people pleasing and trying to give something to somebody that they're not ready for or that they're not even asking for. Feel into that energy and just record down in a notebook how that feels for you. And ask yourself, what can you do instead? What is that energy that you're trying to seek? What are you looking for in that connection? Are you looking for validation that the person loves you? And if that's the case, then you're going to have to ask yourself, why is it that you doubt this person's love for you? Is it because of their capacity to love? Is it because maybe you both don't know what love is or how to express it to each other? And that maybe that's a conversation that needs to happen. There are so many different nuances when it comes to this type of scenario that it really only can shift and change if you connect into your heart and identify why these behaviors are perpetuating. And then only then can you start to shift and change them once you can feel into the energy. Anything that does not feel like love, peace, and connection is something that can be worked on. It's something that can be improved upon in some way. So if you've been working on something like this and you're listening to this on YouTube or someplace where you can leave a comment, feel free to leave a comment and tell me what you're working on and what you're looking to shift. And then that brings me to diminishing yourself in order to avoid drama or in order to avoid unpleasantness with somebody else's feelings. This is almost the secondary piece to what we were just speaking of. And that is the feeling or the need to withdraw from a situation because you're afraid of how the person is going to react or how they're going to show up in that conversation. If you are feeling responsible for somebody else's feelings, then that is most certainly a reason why you would want to withdraw, why you would want to diminish yourself for the sake of somebody else's feelings or their explosive reaction to whatever is happening. Withdrawing can sometimes be the only thing that works in those moments, but the type of energy that you're withdrawing in also makes a difference. If you are withdrawing to diminish yourself, your energy, and to hide because you don't want to be a part of what is happening in that moment, then that shows you that you are still in the energy of feeling responsible for somebody else's feelings. Maybe there's some guilt and shame woven in there. The work that needs to be done in that silence or in that space of withdrawing needs to be the connection to what emotions you are feeling at that moment. Are you in a place of blaming yourself, feeling guilty, feeling shame? And if that's the case, why? Why do you feel responsible for somebody else's feelings? Is there something that you did to help contribute to this situation? And if so, take responsibility for it. If you take responsibility for it, you apologize, you talk to the person about it, and yet they are still feeling like a victim, they are still in explosive energy, then that is when you can withdraw again and feel like you are in a space that you are acting in integrity, that you are acting according to the values that you have, taking responsibility for the things you must, and releasing the rest. If you feel that you have acted in integrity, then it is your time to withdraw from that energy and allow the person to go through what they must in order to go within, learn the lessons, do whatever they need to do, but that is not your responsibility. Oftentimes when these types of situations happen, we just want the energy to stop. We just want whatever is happening to stop. We want the yelling or the crying or the explosive behavior to stop, so we will do anything in our power to make it stop. But I will tell you again, it is not your job to make it stop. It may be your job to communicate, to ask questions, but you need to let the other person go through the emotions that they are going through, whatever they happen to be. And if you decide that you cannot handle that, then that is okay. You can remove yourself from the situation. But when you do, remove yourself with compassion, especially if you love this person. Tell the person that you are feeling overwhelmed and that you need to take a minute. There are so many ways that you can deal with these types of situations. And I very much encourage you to approach this through your heart, through curiosity, and through compassion. When you approach these situations from your own hurt, guilt, and shame, it is only going to create a deeper well of emotion that you both will need to crawl out of. And speaking of emotion that we need to move out of, we did a beautiful meditation with Chloe regarding her mother. Every single mother on this planet has given the energy that they were carrying to their child. Every single mother. And every single mother on this planet cannot and should not take on the responsibility of that to their child. It is just the way it works with energy. The energy of that child is within you, and you are within the energy of that child. It's bound to happen where you're going to be connected energetically. So there need not be any guilt or shame regarding whatever state you were in while you were pregnant, because your child knew the state you would be in when you were pregnant and still chose it anyway. I have mentioned in the past that I have seen in the records many times that it depends on the soul and their choice as to when they have decided to enter the body. Some souls will enter the body upon conception. Some will enter the body a little bit further on in the pregnancy, and some will wait until the very end, until they are born. I actually have a client who said that her son said to her that he actually didn't enter his body until he was 4. It can happen differently for absolutely everyone. So for those souls who wait until after the pregnancy is complete, they may have made that decision because they knew maybe the mother was going to be going through some pretty rough times that they didn't need to experience. And maybe you did experience some of your mother's emotion while being in the womb. You can do that exact meditation that we did in the session with Chloe. You can close your eyes and take a deep breath and imagine that you are traveling back in time until you are standing in front of your pregnant mother. And you can connect to that child that is you. Clear her energy, clear his energy, put a bubble of protection around them. Do whatever feels good and necessary for you to be able to clear that energy so you can have a much more fluid and connected experience with the unborn version of you or the child version of you, whatever it happens to be. You can ask your soul, when is it that I incarnated into my human self in this lifetime? And is there anything that needs to be cleared from my birth? There are a lot of misconceptions I feel about motherhood, and that your mother is solely responsible for the energy that she gave you when you were a child and when you were in the womb. It is not their responsibility to make sure that the habitat, so to speak, is 100% clear of any lower or negative energy. That's not why we incarnate on this planet, and I talk about that often. Her job is to do exactly what she is meant to do in exactly the way that she was meant to do it. And oftentimes we get into blame with our mothers about how we grew up, about what happened when we were born, about the trauma that we felt here or there. And if it actually got to the point where your relationship with your mother was toxic, like it was for Chloe, where you were in an emotionally abusive connection, the forgiving work that needs to be done has to do with you, not her. The forgiveness that you seek in your heart, that you work through, extricating those emotions of feeling like the victim, removing any of the energy that she may have placed on you during an emotionally abusive moment. Being able to clear your energy of all of these things is important. Holding on to anger, holding on to resentment is only going to affect you. It's not going to affect her. Oftentimes people hold on to anger and resentment because they fear that they cannot hold the boundaries themselves. The boundaries of lack of communication, if that's where you're at with your parent. It's lack of trust in self. Anger and resentment keeps you separated from that which has hurt you. But you have the ability to keep yourself separated from that which has hurt you without the anger and resentment. You can release that and still hold a boundary. That is called self-empowerment. That is called standing in your power, knowing what is good for you and what isn't. Having that discernment to be able to accept what is good for you in your life and what is not. So if you are having a hard time forgiving somebody, the first place I would start to look is your own trust in yourself. Do you trust yourself to be able to make the right decisions, to not fall into old patterns, to not accept the behavior that has happened in the past? Lastly, I want to talk about the physical ailments as they pertain to past lives related to traumatic deaths and that sort of thing, as we discussed with Chloe. This is something that happens often. I have seen it in many client sessions where people will have a weird pain somewhere and it's a recurring pain. And that has to do with a way that they died in a previous lifetime. One of the first instances I had heard about this before I even looked in the records was reading the book Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss. And he spoke about someone who he healed from cataracts, because this person in his life had cataracts at a very, very young age. And once he was able to tap into that past life, they realized that she had been burned really badly and blinded in a past life. And that traumatic event from that past life created the physical ailment of cataracts in this lifetime. It was very much the same regarding the death of her previous version of herself from the arrow. It's not always the case if you have chronic pain that is where it's coming from, because that type of chronic pain can come from a great many different energies and situations. But if you have the inkling that maybe there is something there, that is certainly something that we can cover in a session. And once you are able to know about what it is that is staying active in your energy field regarding this past life, you can then start to clear it. I want to thank you so much for joining me this week, and I look forward to connecting with you for a new episode next Wednesday.
If you're enjoying this podcast, it would be really amazing if you could like, share, and subscribe. Wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it's Apple or Spotify, feel free to give it a review if you feel called. If you are following me on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you are notified for every single new episode of the Akashic Recordings. If you feel called to book a session with me, you can always reach me at infinitesoullove.com, and you can book directly on my website. Thank you so much for all of your support, and I can't wait to connect with you next week.